Hey, so I figured that since we're stuck inside, it would be a good idea just to have lunch or something. If that's something you are okay with. Okay. And I'll probably do some Reiki while I eat to some degree. Um, so what I have with me today, um, is a sandwich. It's actually a egg, cheese, and beef. Um, Story behind that is I made a roast yesterday, and I didn't get to eat it because I made it late and I got really tired, so I went to bed. So I'm just I took some of that meat from the roast and put it with egg and cheese and got a sandwich with that. And I also have a garden salad with me as well. I got this from Kroger's an hour or so ago. Somebody had mentioned leafy greens in like my last video that I did in regards to eating. And I'm like, you're not wrong. But yeah, so I decided to get a salad. Alright. And with that to drink, I went to Sonic. And I don't know if you can hear this, but I got a large vanilla Coke. So, yeah. The drink choice isn't the healthiest by any means of the sort, but I don't know, I was just craving it. And I also have a few other assortments with me, like candy or whatever, if I'm still hungry during this video. But anyways, if you brought something, feel free to indulge. If you haven't and you just want to relax and chill out, then that's good too. So yeah. Oh, I washed my hands, so just so we're clear, my hands have been washed. I'm not eating this without washing my hands. I wash my hands beforehand. So, let's just get started. So I'm gonna go ahead and clear the space because that's what I do before I eat. That's not what I do before I eat. But since we're doing sort of a Reiki video too with this, because I know some of you guys are gonna want to come on here to watch Reiki instead of me eating and stuff. But anyways, I want to do something different. I love doing different things on the channel. Just have a wide variety of different choices. I hope my regular voice isn't too loud. I'm trying to do it in a very low tone instead of talking extremely, because I project when I speak. I think I've said this before in like past videos, but I project when I speak, and I try to whisper as much as possible because I know I project. But yeah. Anyways, so I apologize in advance if the way I eat offends anybody. I'm going to warn you right now that I eat very uniquely. I have a very unique way I eat. I'm not squeezing the sandwich to a point of detriment. I'm just kind of like, it's like, are you squeezing your sandwich? I'm like, no, I'm just rubbing my hands on the aluminum foil. looks like a delicious mess. That's the best way I can describe it. Anyways, I'm gonna open my salad. I wish I got Caesar dressing rather than ranch. I prefer Caesar. I'm a Caesar person. I don't know why. You know what else goes good with Caesar? A Neapolitan pizza. And if you don't know what a Neapolitan pizza is, you're missing out completely. Like, as far as pizza ranking goes, I'm trying to talk so loud. As far as pizza ranking goes, there's Neapolitan for me, Chicago deep dish, and then New York. And in that order. If you guys have a different opinion, that's fine. If you put the Chicago deep dish over Neapolitan, I completely understand. But for me, it's Neapolitan, Chicago deep dish, and then New York. I love how they just gave me a little fork to do this. I know you probably can't see me doing this on camera, but I'm like struggling with the little fork. Thank God they don't have, the croutons where it's like you open the bag and just like all over the place. It's like, come on, man. And like I have like cheese and bacon and meat. Well, chicken. I'm not really trying to eat chicken. I have enough. Bacon, yes. Chicken, not really. I'm fine with just bacon and cheese. Put this over here. I should show you guys me sprinkling bacon. For those of you who are Muslim and what I'm doing right now is completely wrong, forgive me. But like, I have a weakness for bacon, so. I'm sorry. I don't even know if you can see me do this. Okay. Because the light is so powerful back there, things sometimes get a bit flushed out, and I'm just concerned about that. So, let's talk about interesting things. So, like, do y'all ever have one of those, like, small moments of psychosis where you're just like, I know this may not be completely accurate, but the way the pieces are coming together right now, this can actually be pretty accurate. But deep in your heart, it's complete bull. Long story short, I listened to a lot of scary stories, And being this quarantine has been making those stories a lot more interesting. Um, and one of the things that make the stories interesting is whenever some of the stories start to bleed into like real life a bit. And I have an example for that. So, um, I've been listening to a lot of skinwalker stories and like Wendigo stories. If you guys aren't familiar what skinwalkers and Wendigos are, do some research. I'm not gonna get too much into it, but I'll give you a brief little description. It's basically people like that are cursed when they eat when they eat a human being, they get cursed and they become this creature, this like dark creature with like that can transform into anything. Now, here's the thing about Wendigos, and skinwalkers. I think they're two completely different things, although I can be wrong. Um, I believe they're two completely different things. A skinwalker is someone that's cursed by the fact that they've eaten another human being, and they kind of they can wear any type of skin. Um, Whereas I feel like a Wendigo is somebody that made the choice of like it wasn't a curse. Like this is somebody that was like it's a legit creature. Like a Wendigo is like a legit, like it wasn't man made. Like a Wendigo is a Wendigo. Like it's a spirit. Like it's a dark spirit. So I mean I could be completely wrong at this whole assessment, but that's kind of where I'm at with it. Where I'm like, because some people think some people say they're the same thing, and I can kind of see that that might be the case. But I kind of have a weird hunch that they're like it's different. Where it's like, whereas like the Skinwalker is a man, like a person that's cursed with this curse of being a Wendigo, and I mean a curse of being a Skinwalker. A Wendigo. I hope I said this right. But a Wendigo is more of like it's a spirit, like it's a legit spirit, like a creature of the forest. And I don't know. I've been hearing strange noises outside my window, and I saw this like license plate at this like at my apartment building, and it read Navajo, which, if you're familiar with the legend of skinwalkers and Wendigos, um, the Navajo, mention them, a lot in their like stories of like scary stories and whatnot. So the fact that I've been seeing a lot of that, I'm like, holy crap, is there like a skinwalker outside my window? Um, I don't know, but it's interesting thoughts that you get during this quarantine situation. I'm like, what if I'm literally dealing with a skinwalker right now? Like, how do I handle that? I don't know. You know what? I didn't know how much I needed a salad right now until I had a salad, and I'm realizing I really needed a salad. Um, Jesus, this is gonna be a lot of noise. By the way, this is the aluminum foil doing all this, making like all this noise. I'm trying to like open this lid all up without any like complications. Yes, 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 yes. So I'm one of those weird people that really doesn't really use straws that much when it comes to these types of things. Like, I love just sipping it from the cup because I like getting the ice. I know. Very weird. But anywho, um, let's talk about some more cool, um, I think more creepy stuff. Um, so I know you guys are pretty much familiar with like creepypastas and stuff like that, and like the Let's Not Meets. And I've been listening to a lot of those. I'm kind of getting burnt out on them. Um, there's certain readers. There's certain readers that they do a great job. I really believe they do a great job. I love their work, but because they put out so consistently, and because YouTube, the way the algorithm works, it's like, if you're really popular, if you have enough subscribers and you put out really consistently, those are the main videos that come up. I get kind of annoyed because like I don't mind, you know, listening to the same people, but eventually I kind of want to hear some new readers because it's just like I get it, but I hear your voice all the time and just I'm kind of bored of it. Don't fall, don't fall. So I get like to a point where I was just like I have to look for new readers or whatever. And there's these certain like other readers, like these other ASM artists who like I should be doing some Reiki too. But there's some other ASM artists that not ASM artists, oh my god, readers. Scary story readers. Who's like they don't put out enough, but I wish they did. It's a huge mess. They don't put out a lot of videos. I wish they did though. Because I really enjoy their style of reading, but they don't put out consistently enough, which is disappointing. I'm not really one to talk with my mouth full, but yeah. So I sometimes have a dilemma when I'm trying to listen to these stories because I was typing creepypasta or creepy stories, and the same authors, not the same authors, the same readers would come up, and I'm just like, no. Anyways, but I'm trying to think of anything creepy that's happened to me besides the ones I've already told you guys. Um, all right, so let's just get to stuff that's creepy. So in one of my recent videos, actually, someone mentioned that they saw a girl, like I don't know, a spirit of a little girl putting her hand on my shoulder. Oh my god. That was way more food than I was willing to accept. Give me 1 second. The sandwich is falling apart. Do you know the sandwiches? The sandwich is falling apart. Anyways, someone mentioned, thing to my face. Someone mentioned that they saw a little girl putting her hand on my shoulder. And I've had a couple of psychics tell me that I mean, I'm pretty much aware of my whole like spiritual team, like my ancestors, parents, even a few angels, a couple of ascendant masters. I'm all aware that they are present most of the time, if not all the time. But there's this one spirit that has been around me for a very long time. It's a very young little girl spirit. I was hoping nothing on my teeth. Anyways, multiple psychics have said that that's the spirit of my future daughter, and she's just hanging around me because I'm gonna be her father, and I think that's pretty chill. So if that's probably who you saw is probably the spirit of my future daughter, that's going to show up at some point. I mean, at some point. But yeah, I'm not really too worried about like. Children spirits are fine. They tend to be very benevolent. It's the other ones you got to worry about. But yeah, you're probably seeing the spirit of my future daughter. Um, from what I hear from one psychic, they were like, she wasn't able. I think she probably either died before she was born, and the parent, she I guess she had a choice to pick some another her parents again, and I mean I guess she picked me, which is like okay. I don't know when I'm gonna have you or when you're going to incarnate, but whenever she does, I'll be a better dad than mine kind of was. Anyways, it's a story for a different time. But yeah, someone said they saw a spirit in one of my videos, which is pretty cool. I know. This is so messy. But you also have to understand that this is so good. Like, it's really good. But it's so messy. And I need to touch my salad, like, in a few seconds. Because if I don't, I will just look like one of those, like, unhealthy people. Even though, like, deep inside, I really am. I told you I eat interesting, so if you're watching this and you're not happy about what you're witnessing, you were warned. I'm not really one for mukbangs, to be honest with you guys. I just remember I mentioned doing this video a while back and I never got a chance to do it. But yeah, let's see with our spirits. My mom has made her presence known a couple times, which is pretty cool. Oh God. Now, how she's done this? She's done this by saving my ass. Way more times than not. Meaning, if I'm going to make a terrible decision that day, like a real bad decision, Like something will happen to kind of yank me out of like harm's way, and I'm like, that's my mom. But yeah, my mom sometimes makes her presence known. But yeah, growing up, I've always been afraid of like when I was really younger, not now, but when I was younger, I used to be terribly afraid of like spirits and like ghosts and death. But then you get older and you realize that most of the spirits that choose to follow you, most of them are on your team. You got to do something that you ain't supposed to do in order to get one of the other spirits to follow you. I don't mess with Ouija boards. That's another thing I've been listening to a lot about. It's Ouija boards. I don't care how innocent it may look. Take it from me. Don't mess with Ouija boards. I don't I don't mess with Ouija boards. Um I don't have an innate desire to mess with Ouija boards. And like I really just like cuz you the thing about it is when you channel spirit and you especially when you've never channeled spirits before, you may channel the wrong spirit, especially in the location that you may be in. And the last thing you want to do is bring a malefic spirit into your space. Because that's when bad things will start happening. So, if there's any other source of divination that you want to use, if you want to talk to one of your dead relatives, get a good medium. You know, someone that actually works with it. And I'm not talking about like someone that you just found randomly, but do research on a really good medium. People, because there's really good mediums out there that you can reach out to, and they can give you the information that you seek. But like using the Ouija board to get it just to I don't even know if they still sell these like outright, but just in general, I wouldn't mess with a Ouija board. It's like even when I do spells, I call for the help of my spiritual team. I don't really search for a lot of outside influences because you don't want any of that in your circle. It's like, and most of us we have a bigger team than we think we do. Like some people may think like, oh, I don't have a lot of spirit guides. Like no, you have a bigger team than you think you do. It's just that some of us are more disconnected to that realm rather than connected to it. So it seems like we have less, but we actually have a really big team. Um, but anyways, yeah, just try to connect with your team, like the people that the spirits that want to see you succeed, the spirits that want to see you make it. But you don't want to connect to the wrong spirit at any sort of moment in time. What else? What else? Um, let's. We can get a little bit more about me. if y'all want to hear any of that. Like again, if you this is not your type of video, if you don't like me just sitting here eating and talking about stuff, random stuff, then there's plenty of there's a lot more other videos on this channel that you can watch, but this is the one I wanted to film today. Anyways, so just checking everything. Got paranoid for a bit. About me and why I started doing, like, how I got into all this. So when I was in high school, there was this like shop, and I'm from, like I said, I'm from Opelousas, Louisiana, and there was a little shop in Lafayette, Louisiana that sold like candles and herbs and whatever. And in high school, I went through a period where, even now, but more or less more high school than not, I got so sick of my life, of all the things I've been trying to bring into my life, not manifesting. And I wanted to learn how to manifest things a lot quicker and how to use the energy that's around me, to work in my favor. So I started looking at, spells and stuff. And I became more and more interested in the subject. The first candles I burned weren't dressed or anything. They were just regular candles. I don't know what I thought what was going to happen with that. And if you see somebody walk in, that's probably my roommate. But anyways, so the first candles I ever got, I didn't dress them. I just had them just sitting there burning. And my mom didn't really completely understand why I was like burning candles, especially like she was familiar with Novena candles, but she really wasn't into it like that. She was just like, it was what it was. My mom was hardcore Catholic. Like, she went to church every week, every weekend, it was every Saturday. She went to Saturday mass, but every Saturday she would go to mass, and I was just like, I don't know, you could do that. Now, if you're one of those people that can go to like church every week, my hat's off to you. I can't do that. I'm not that commitment crazy towards religion. I'm good. This is why I record really late. She talks very loud. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, a lot of that stuff, she didn't really care for that much. She was more into just like, she wanted me to have some sort of like religion in my life, but she really didn't like, she was more hoping more Catholicism than anything else. Like, I remember when I was really young, she wanted me to go through catechism and go through the whole sacraments and stuff. I got to catechism and I just couldn't take it. The information that they were giving in the classes just, I don't know, for me, it just didn't resonate. And I mean, I have my own views when it comes to like Catholicism and what it is. What it is. I have nothing. There's good and bad. There's always there's never just a black and white. There's everything's gray around here. But yeah, I remember just after catechism, I was just like, I can't do this. I can't, like, I already go to school enough to deal with like regular stuff. I don't want to go to school for like religion. Like, why should I go to school to be accepted into something? I don't know. It just, part of me, felt drained when I went to school because I can be extroverted, but I'm more of an introvert. So when I'm around that many people for that many a long amount of hours, I get drained really easily. So when I come back home, the first thing I would do is go to sleep, and then I would do my homework right after. But I never really liked being, if I didn't have to be around people, I wasn't gonna be around people. And so now I get back home from school, and then I gotta go back to be around more people. I'm just like, I don't have the energy to put up with this. So I stopped going to catechism, and right before she passed away, she basically said, I don't really care what kind of religion you guys, jump into, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone, and as long as it's, you have some sort of belief system, that gets you through. So I was like, okay, that I can deal with that. But it was like during my time in Los Angeles, like I started more getting in towards the spiritual side of things. I mean, Los Angeles, there's a place you're gonna, really get into the spiritual. Los Angeles is kind of the place. But I don't know, I was able to see life through a different way. Um, growing up, I've never really saw life as I was never that person. Like I was the glass half empty guy. I was always the glass half empty person. Even to this, day to some degree, I'm the glass half empty type of person. But there's certain aspects of spirituality that helps you see the glass half full, rather than where it's like with Catholicism, it's kind of more of like you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. That's just how it goes. Whereas with spirituality, it's more or less like you can do this, you can do that, but ultimately you're going to end up here, regardless of what road you take. You can either do the easy way out or you can do the hard way out, but either way, you're going to end up where you need to end up. So it makes you feel like, in a way, that you can't really mess up. There's freedom into what you do. There's freedom into the decisions you make. You don't mess up. You just take longer to get to where you need to get, which is, it is what it is. Whatever helps you obtain the lesson a lot easier. So I got into spirituality, but then there was this like shop in Los Angeles that I used to hang around all the time, and there was these two witches that I used to visit every so often, get reading from them. They have spell casts and stuff, and then I started getting in more into like witchcraft, and I learned a couple of things they did, and I kind of watched what they did, and then I started implementing my own style into my own type of work, and practitioner type work. And then as time went by, here I am. um, but yeah, it was truly at that point where I don't know, growing up, I was always that kid that wanted to be like, to get readings from psychics. I've always wanted to you know delve deep into like magic and spell work and energy work in general. And the fact that I just kept flocking to that, and like maybe my parents, my mom was not like, cause my mom was one of those hardcore Catholic type of women. So even to some degree, she didn't um, she didn't really take kindly into all that stuff. But at the same time, I guess she got to a point where she realized that like it wasn't my choice, my choice of beliefs that would ultimately put me in the right direction, but it's just me making the conscious decision as a human being of whether I'm going to make the right choices or not. So I guess with that, she was just kind of like, okay, I surrender to that, aspect of you have to be a Catholic, because that's the thing. Like, my mom pretty much wanted me to be a Catholic, and there's just so many things about Catholicism that I don't really agree with. Um, but at the same time, there are things about Catholicism that I do agree with. So, there's different aspects of different religions that I kind of resonate with, and there's aspects of religions that I don't resonate with. So I feel like choosing something that's, gives me wiggle room to be a human being, to express myself completely without any limitations, and to achieve the highest, you know, sort of value for myself. That's the type of beliefs that I wanted to incorporate in my life. So, and also really allowing myself to work with the energies around me and the things that surround me that I'm unable to see. Um, so that's why I decided to work with spirits. I decided to work with tarot and magic and for people, those people who like whenever it comes to magic, who have this like Harry Potter belief that it doesn't work like we wave our wand and things happen. But it's just putting that attention out there and just trying to, and like I'm one of those types of like obsessive thinkers. So what I'll do is I'll kind of like focus on a certain subject for a while, and then until it manifests. And once it manifests, and I'm like, okay, I got you. So it's one of those things where kind of using that energy and using that you know um what do you what am I saying? uh that vision, like you can envision what you want. If you're able to like really picture that in your mind, you're just kind of using that to your advantage and bringing that into the physical. And that's basically something that I've always been obsessed with. I've always wanted to study because that's what I want to do. I want to bring my ideas to the physical, and sometimes I have a hard time doing that because I'm a very airy, spacey type of person. But it's important to kind of find that grounding when you're working with that type of work, and kind of being able to like take whatever is in the offing and bring it to the physical, if that makes any sense. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into like working with all this, spells and stuff like that. I do a little bit of everything. I just kind of mix and match, not mix and match, but I kind of like mix it up a little when it comes to my work. Like I said, with the candles and everything, I use oils, herbs, whatever I can use to kind of give it that energy that it needs to do what it needs to do. But um, I also, my thing about with the work is that, like I said, I have a very obsessive type of mind, so I'll keep thinking about it. And part of this work is that you have to learn how to release and let it go, and that's kind of hard because especially whenever you really want something to happen, it just, the release and let go part is the hard part. So, anyways, yeah. But I'm starting to slowly learn that sometimes that's part of the process, where it's not abandoning it, but it's kind of letting the food, cook. In other words, it's like just because you put the food in the oven doesn't mean, and you're going in your room just to chill out for a bit, doesn't mean you're abandoning the food, but you're letting it cook. So, especially when it comes to manifesting my goals or whatever, um, it's hard because sometimes if things aren't happening fast enough, or if things aren't happening to like the effect to which I want them to happen, I pretty much go to the point of like, holy crap, I failed. But in reality, there's so many different other elements that are taking place, that sometimes it's not that my manifestations aren't coming to fruition, but life is happening. And I think I've mentioned this a couple times in videos, but I've also mentioned this in readings. And I know some my biggest issue, another one of my big issues is that like I'll say one thing and then I'll forget what I said, or I'll tell somebody one thing and then I'll forget, like, not forget, but like I for some reason will believe that that message somewhat doesn't apply to me, and it tends to sometimes do. And I think I was doing a reading for somebody, and I remember saying something along the lines of like, um, when it comes to with manifestations, it's kind of like going to, let's say you've been waiting for this carnival. I'm gonna say carnival. Let's make it a carnival. This carnival You've been waiting for this carnival to come back in town. It shows up every year, or it shows up every 2 years, whatever this carnival decides to show up, and you're very excited about this carnival going to town. So all you have to do is just drive there, and you're good, right? So you know, first you wait for the carnival to come around. This carnival comes around, right? Then when it finally comes around, you're like, fine, and let's just go there. And you're driving there, and then there's a train, and you have to wait 5 to 10 minutes for this train to like go by, right? And you're like, I manifested, I did this, what does this train come from? Like this the train never comes at this time, whatever the hell. I did all this, did this. Why did the train decide to come? And it's kind of life just happening, because that's what I'm learning as a human being is that when it comes to doing this type of work, you don't only take account you don't only take into account the work you're putting out there, like the like say you're doing a love spell. Don't only take into account the work that you're putting out there, but also take into account of the different entities and energies that are working to make sure your stuff gets manifested. So whenever that train's happening, it means that there's just something that's happening in a different realm of energy, or a different, like, there's something happening with the other person or with the other situation that's requiring the holdup. So that train could be like, let's say, like you're trying to manifest a person into your life, but that person that would actually do you that the good that you're going to need, that person that is going to fit your description, may be involved with somebody else. Now I know what you're saying. Like now this is how I think sometimes. I'm like, well, I have a whole bunch of other people in this world that I can match with. Like, it doesn't have to be that one. Here's the thing about that, and this is what I'm starting to understand too. You have that case, but you also have a case of where there's certain people that that are essential, that are pretty, that are essential for you to get what you need to get, and there's certain people that are going to help you cross. I'm trying to explain it. Like I hate when I have the way to explain it in my brain, but I don't know how to get it out of my mouth. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is that, like, there's certain people that are supposed to come into your life to help you go to the next level, and that person may be, they may be important. Ooh, sweet baby Jesus, they may be important, an important portion. Christ, they may be important in your life, and they have to come in to do a certain thing to set something going. Like, there's a certain gear that has to turn in order for that gear to work, and but in order for that, this gear to turn, that gear has to turn. I know I'm not making any sense, but just roll with me. Um, if that gear doesn't turn, then the gear next to it won't turn, and in turn, you won't turn. So you're not only messing with the energies that are between you and the other person, but you're also having to deal with the other energy as well that could be causing the blockage. And that's the whole thing about, like, divine timing that sucks, because it's like, it also, whenever people, you get a lot of divine timing, that's spirit saying that your manifestations are working and you're doing a great job. But the problem is that there's other entities that we kind of have to move out the way, or kind of do other things. Now it's starting to make sense. There's other portions of the puzzle that have to be put together for it to completely make sense, to where you understand. Because there could be, like I said, you could be trying to manifest a person, but they're with somebody else. Or you could be trying to manifest a person, but they haven't gotten that job to allow them to move to your state or your city or whatever. So you're kind of, you're doing all this manifestation. You're like, it's not coming to fruition. It's like, no, no, that's not what's happening. There's other things that are happening in the fold that's kind of keeping this at bay. So I'm starting to learn that. So where whenever things don't happen as quickly as I want them to, that maybe that's the case. Maybe she didn't get the job yet to move here, or um, things. Crap happens. But I'm one of those few types of people where it's just like, because I hear about different stories and all these people like, I got my manifestation instantly, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know why I still can't get my manifestations instantly. It's like maybe I'm not strong enough, but then I'll do something to kind of boost my strength, and it's just like, okay, then that's not working. So you get to a point where you get frustrated, um, and that's what I've been kind of dealing with these last couple of weeks. And while I've been kind of in a weird mood, it's just I feel like a lot of the and it's in every front where it's in. Um, I feel like a lot of the manifestation work that I've been doing, and a lot of the stuff that I've been, even not even just manifestation work, but just the groundwork that I've been doing as well, has just not been paying off as much as I would like it to pay off. And also just even in like the dating scenario where it's just like the groundwork is just not paying off. And you're just like, it's not like I'm, sitting on my thumbs like, what am I gonna do next? It's like, oh, what to do? It's like, no, I'm putting in the groundwork, but I'm also putting in the spiritual work. But there's nothing that's paying off, and it just seems like every time I take one step forward, it's like four more steps back. And I got to a point where you saw in the videos, where I just got so frustrated because I'm just like, every time I take one step forward, I take five steps back. Like, what's going on? Like, why am I like, what's going on? And part of this is this whole virus that's happening right now, which I get that. Um, but like in other fronts, it's just like Jesus Christ. It's like what more do I have to do? It's just like you got people that can do just do this, that, and the third, and they get like like the abundance just flows like a river. And it's just like me, I'm like doing this, that, and the third, and then some. And then mine comes in increments, and I'm just like, so I got to a point where I got so overwhelmed and just so annoyed and tired, and then I got sick that weekend prior. So I was just like annoyed, tired, partially recovering, and just at the end of my rope. And then you guys got that video. So that video of like sick of people's mess, that was just got me at a point where I was just like, I felt like no matter what I did, things weren't coming to fruition. And then on top of that, something happened that day, which now is irrelevant. But if you are familiar with the straw that broke the camel's back scenario, that's what that was. It was just kind of like I was already pretty much insecure about everything else and worried about everything else. The last thing I needed was just like, it's just like the last thing I needed was to get ghosted, right? It's just like I got it. Like it was just like it wasn't it was like I said, it wasn't the initial problem. It was the problem where it's just like there was so many other things that I was worried about, and there was so many other things that I was just kind of bothered with. I was just like, the last thing I need to do is just get ghosted, and I got ghosted, and then it all just went boom. And that's when I was just like, I'm just done. I'm not saying anything. I'm done. And then you guys got those two videos, and you're just like, are you okay? I'm like, no. I'm just like, I'm like, why does everything have to kick me when I'm down, Like, I'm already in a place where I'm like, everything is just hitting me at once. I can't go do certain things because this virus has got everything blocked off, so I can't do the things I need to do. I can't, buy the things I want to buy. I can't go do this. I can't do that. I have all this stuff. I'm just like, at least just not let me get ghosted. Anyways, so yeah, it really wasn't the initial. For those of you who thought it was like initially dealing with like like a chick, a female, it really wasn't. It wasn't initially because of a girl. It was just that was the straw that broke the camel's back. um, where it's like God damn it, like yeah, it's like I would just you know now it's just like it is what it is now. Like it's not that serious at this point. But like I said, man, it's just one of those things where it's like I hate when that happens. Where you 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 got so much you're dealing with at one point, and you just need just one thing just to go right, and then even that plate breaks, and you're just just fuck it, just like it's what's the point? Um, and that was me last week. So for those of y'all who are just curious about all that stuff, um, but yeah, that's why I was angry in the videos. That's why I went on that weird, that's why I was in that place. But anyways, I'm gonna actually cut this video short right now. I know it's not short. We probably have gone at least to like an hour at this point with this video. But if you were able to stick around for this entire hour of me eating, talking, and kind of giving you an explanation of how like my brain works, thank you for joining me. As far as I know, you guys have pretty much some of you guys are aware about the collaboration with Lunanate. Yes, I'm going to email her today to see like if like how she wants to do this and everything like that. Probably like, kind of like get just an idea how we're going to do it. But yeah, we're going to be collaborating. She hopefully she still wants to. But yeah, I'm really excited. So yeah, I'm very excited. And again, thank you guys for joining me. I'm gonna do another picker card soon. I know you guys have probably been wanting me to do one of those for a while. I've just been, I don't know where I've been. Um, but yeah, so thank you guys again for watching. Thank you for joining me for lunch. I really appreciate you guys being here and tolerating me this much. I love every single one of y'all. Take care, and I will see you guys very soon.